the Dr. Alice Show. I am your host, Dr. Alice Yancey Teague, and I am running for your next president of the United States of America on an independent ticket because I believe that you need a president who will hear you, but most of all, who will fight for you and who will fight for this democracy. I don't know about you all, but I'm tired of both parties fighting with each other. And if you look around, has anything changed? If we want to make a change, we got to do something different. So I say vote different. I say vote independent in 2024 because I want to be your next president because, like I said, I believe that you need a president who will hear you, but most of all, who will fight for your family. And I'm willing to fight for your family. I have the tenacity to move this country forward. I'm bold enough to run for President of the United States of America. I'm legit and I'm certified, and I want to be your next president. So invest in me, America, so that we can move this country forward for a better tomorrow. Now, if you want to visit my website, the website is yanceycampaign.com, and that is YANCYTEAGUES.com. You can visit that page on Monday. It's under construction right now. We're doing some updates on it. But please, go on Monday, visit my website, get on board this train for the next president of the United States of America in 2024. And I tell you, you tried everything else. Now, let's try independent style. That's enough for me right now. I have three lovable ladies. You can see them in my audience. It's Mother's Day on tomorrow. And I want to wish every mother in the United States a happy Mother's Day, but especially for my family, my sisters, my cousins, my aunties, my nieces. I want to say happy Mother's Day from the Dr. Alice Show. And today, our guest, my daughter is on the show today. My daughter, Rashonda, is right here. She's on the show, and we're going to talk to her. She has a core business. She makes wreaths and stuff like that, and she's going to talk to you about that. I'm so glad that she have decided to be on my show. Matter of fact, they was in a pool. These ladies was in a pool to be on my show, and the questions that I asked them, they was phenomenal answers, and I do appreciate each and every one of them being on my show. And then we have on my show again, we have Mrs. Maddie. She's right here at the end, and she's going to talk about, she has a new book that she's going to be talking about. What makes her special and what makes me special, because we both are breast cancer survivors. And
Absolutely.
so she's going to talk about her book. And then we have Mrs. Morgan. She does production. And so you really want to listen to these ladies and what they have to offer. And I'm not going to go any farther, but I'm going to start off with my daughter, Rashonda Yancey. And I want to say, welcome, Miss Rashonda, to the show. I just want to say this, as your mother, I'm so grateful that you are my daughter. And I want to say right here, we have a live audience, and I want you to hear the live audience because my show is taped every time that I'm on here with a live audience. So I want to hear from the live audience right now, and you will hear them right now. All right, audience, that's a big audience, and that's my daughter. Thank you, audience, my live audience. I appreciate them. I'm going back to my daughter, Rashonda. I want to say to you, I'm so thankful that you are my daughter. I couldn't ask for a better daughter than what I have. And she always would remind me, I said, you know what, do something because you're my daughter. She says, Mom, I'm your only daughter. So she had to remind me that, and I'm so thankful that she is my daughter. I want to say to you, thank you for going and being the mother you are to my grandchildren, DJ and Savannah. I see you work hard with them, you discipline them, and I'm so grateful for that. And when I was going through my struggle, my journey with breast cancer, you was right there. And I'm thankful for that. When I raised you, I didn't have a book. I don't think any mother has a book to say, how do you raise your children? I did the best I can with you and your brother. And I'm so thankful that both of you all came out to be very productive children and very successful children, and I thank you. And I thank you for being my daughter. So once again, welcome to the Dr. Alice Show. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Well, you're welcome. And, you know, thank you for being my mom. Also, I learned a lot from you, and just, you're a strong woman. You know, you are. You go after what you want, and, you know, you are a start to finish type of person. And then you go on to experience, you know, something different. So you are very much not complacent in your life. You like to strive for new things, and I learned that from you. So I hope that my kids picks that up from us. So I appreciate you, girl. But just a little bit about myself. I am a mother of 2 children, as you know, DJ and Savannah, 9 and soon to be 13. Yeah, you know, I'm a mom. I'm a working mom. I have recently started my home decorum business. So I do office staging and home staging. I make centerpieces for events and things of that nature. So feel free to check me out on Instagram, decor_SHAUN_D. You can also reach me through my email address, which is decorSHAUND@gmail.com. And I developed that because I love arts and crafts. I love just being creative. And I also wanted a business for myself, but I didn't just want to jump out and do anything. So I took some time to figure out what I actually wanted to do as a business, and get into the mold of a business owner and still be a mom and still work and things like that. And I just thought about my brother, Jonathan Williams, who was killed years ago, and he was a hustler. You know, he was very much the person, like, he gets out, gets his money, gets things done, but still takes care of home and family. And so I wanted to do something that would just keep his spirit alive. So that's why it's named Decor Shandi. He used to call me Shandi all the time, so I named it in memory of him.
Oh, that's a wonderful thing. And being your
Thank you.
mom, what have been the challenges that me and you have faced as a mother and daughter? I know sometimes you don't see eye and eye with your children, and raising her was special. And I always wanted to make sure that she didn't think that there was a difference between her and her brother. So what was one of the challenges that you faced with me being your mother?
I think challenge-wise, it was just, you know, understanding. We're 2 different people a lot of times, but we're the same in some instance. So I think that's where we clash a lot of times, because you're trying to tell me something, I'm trying to tell you something, and we're very stern in what we believe a lot of times. So I think that was, you know, a big challenge, just trying to make you listen to me sometimes, and you try to get me to listen to you. But I think that as we grow older, we realize, like, we don't know everything. So there are some things I need to intake and listen to what you say, and I would think that you start to feel the same way, that there are things I say that you might need to intake, but only on the constructive criticism side, to where it's to better you and you to better me. So I think that, you know, that's just, you know, that it used to be a struggle, to where it's like, she doesn't understand what I'm trying to say. And I think that you are entering, you know, a time frame in your life to where you're listening to me a little.
Woman that she has came into my life. When I met Mrs. Morgan right here on Atlanta TV 1061, I told her that I was running for President of the United States of America. And she said, "You are?" And I told her, "Yes, I am." And so when I told her, she says, "You know what? I'm going to help your campaign." So I'm thankful, Mrs. Morgan, that you have decided to help me and to help my campaign. And I'm so glad that when we met, you know, sometimes you can meet somebody and you just click it off just like that. When we met, we clicked it off just like that. And so it seems like I've been knowing you for years. Even though it's been a short time, I appreciate you, and I hope that this journey together with me running my campaign, that we will have a long-lasting relationship. And I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Teague. First, I'm going to say, well, when I met you, You know, you mentioned that you're an expert at dart throwing.
Yes.
So, you know, I had to recognize and, you know, decide, yeah, I'm going to be on your side. You know what I'm saying? The lady's an expert dart thrower, okay? So that's called gunboat diplomacy, what she did right there. But we're not going to talk about that. My name is Ina Morgan, and I'm an international assistant professor. I work quite a bit abroad. I teach a wide range of subjects, and one of them is acting, and I'm also a producer and director. As she mentioned, I founded and direct and still run Beijing French Theatre International, and you can check that out, Beijing French Theatre, and theatre is spelled in the English way with the R-E, not an E-R, .org. And also, I'm working here at 1061 Productions. We're going to be doing Short Film Universe, which is a show that highlights producers, directors, anyone in the film industry. And we'll be running some acting classes here because in addition to everything I teach, coaching acting is a major part of it. So look for that coming at TV 1061 Production. Yes, I love the idea that Dr. Teague, I have to champion her for that, with everything that she has going on, that she's going to undertake that campaign, that presidential campaign. So a woman with that gumption that's going to do that, who throws darts, you know, this is self-protection right here. I'm going to go ahead and jump on her campaign. Totally self-serving, totally self-serving.
Thank you, thank you.
But I will jump right on that campaign with her and assist in any way I can. And as a clothing designer, yes, we have already decided we're picking out outfits. So
That's right.
that's going to get you started right there.
Right.
And to my right, my lovely teacher, partner here. Girl, I didn't know about your design. We're going to have to.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. Feeling her up and all
out there
that.
sometimes. It's okay.
I'm getting rockets on the set here, all right?
Right, that's what we needed. Turn it up.
Absolutely.
I know, turn up the heat. Okay. Okay, this is going to turn a whole different show.
And you heard Ms. Morgan, she will be designing my clothing, so we're going to give her a round of applause for that.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate that. So when you see my new look, we're going to give it the thanks
credits.
to Mrs. and the credit to Mrs. Morgan. She decided to be my designer. As I am running this campaign, she decided to be my designer, and I'm so thrilled about that. For her to decide that she wants to dress me and to make sure that I'm representing the American people, because that's what I want to do, is represent you, the American people. Next on my show is Miss Maddie.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yes.
Been knowing her for a
Teacher
short
lady.
period of time. And when I talked to her and she found out her son and my grandson are like this. They are best of buddies. And they was talking about, you know, my grandmother is running for president. She didn't believe it. You know how parents do. They be driving, and they said, oh, yeah, right. So she actually didn't believe the kid. So then when she talked to me and I told her who I was and what I was doing, and she said, yeah? And she said, I can't believe you. And I said, okay, you can Google me up, and anybody can Google me up. Just put in my name, Alice Yancey Teague for President 2024, and I come up. You can put in my show, the Dr. Alice Show. So I'm all over the website and Google. So when she saw that, and then she saw the clip that Politic One put me in the running race with our current president, Joe Biden. And she said, you are legit. You are running for president of the United States of America. And she said, somebody like that, I'm going to help her. So I thank her for wanting to help me on my journey. And I'm so glad that she decided to help me to run this race for president of the United States of America. And I'm going to give her the floor now.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. T. Thank
Yes.
you all. I appreciate you all. So apparently I have trust issues. I mean, whatever.
But I did, kids are always joking, so I wasn't sure if they were serious. But when I spoke to you, I definitely, realized that you were serious about this, and I loved the ambition. I love the ambition, and I think when you had first sent me, it said vision at the top, and that was super important to me as well, is to have that vision to say, this is what I want to do, and I'm going after it. Yeah, so that was huge. So I am Miss Lydia Maddie, and I'm going to also...
I had a hard time saying her name, you
She
guys.
really did.
Just for you to know, Miss Lydia, but hey, I got it now.
She really did, and then also me and Anna, we were speaking, and we were like, we need to make sure she says Miss and not Mrs. Because listen, honey,
I was gonna wait for the second round. Let's throw it out there without missing.
Right. She has the sexy hair going on. We need that. Right. We are all single up here.
Right.
Well, no woman.
I'm not.
Okay, one is not single, but the rest of them are single. And guess what? I am too.
Yes, but thank you so much, Dr. Teague, for having me on the show. I've jumped over to the other side of things, and they call us breast cancer survivors now, right? And I'm always a little bit shifty about using that saying because it almost feels a little bit like victimhood, right? And this is definitely not a journey of a victim.
Absolutely.
Right, in any way, shape, form, or fashion. If anything, I am a breast cancer conqueror, and I would like to say that you are that as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, let's do that for sure.
Trust the teacher for changing the words.
Right.
We have to put in our own words. Edit.
Yes, always.
Yes.
We've been going back and forth about that. I am an educator. At my core, I started out teaching in medicine and then moved over to the more holistic healing arts. I practice Reiki, do energy healing, and just really learning more about this deep connection that we have with Source and with God, and teaching that to other people. So thank you for mentioning my book as well, Dr. Teague. I greatly appreciate that. I will have the book out later this year, and it is called 10 Things I Learned While Having Cancer.
That's amazing.
And it's freaking profound. Not just because I wrote it, but really just because because it's timely. It's something that I think we all need to hear at this point in time to maybe understand going about life in a little bit of a different.
We have to go on break,
Yeah.
and we'll be right back. When we come back, we're going to continue with you, Mrs. Mannix. We got to go on break, you all, but before we go on break, I want to send a shout out to my minister, Dr. Richard Barclay, and First Lady. We're going to go on break. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Lauren, and welcome to TV 1061. Join our network and broadcast your film live across the continent. Come to our studio and film and stream your TV show, sitcom, and showcase and broadcast it worldwide. Combine multimedia with your live stream. Independent filmmakers show your movie and afterwards interview your cast live. Sponsors, advertisers, I'm talking to you. This is your chance for global exposure. These are exciting times that we're in. Traditional TV is but a thing of the past. TV 1061 is on the Roku platform. Roku is an industry leader in internet TV. It has a viewership of 53 million and counting. It is the most popular and fastest growing internet TV platform. If you are interested in developing and showcasing your movie or show, or interested in coming in as a sponsor or advertiser, please send us your contact information with a brief description of your interest to 1061tv@gmail.com. Thank you. Hi, my name is Lauren, and welcome to TV 1061. Join our network and broadcast your film live across the continent. Come to our studio and film and stream your TV show, sitcom, and showcase and broadcast it worldwide.
Country's Barbecue and Soul Food is now hiring. If you love barbecue, you won't find a better barbecue restaurant than Big Country's Barbecue and Soul Food. Come experience the taste of perfection, the finest quality of barbecue grilled fresh, leaving your taste buds longing for more. The memories of a delicious, well-seasoned, mouth-watering meal will last a lifetime. Visit us today. Big Country's Barbecue and Soul Food is located at 1530 Hudson Ridge Road in Stockbridge. Order now on Grubhub or call 470-781-1236. Big Country's Barbecue.
Hello and welcome back to my show, the Dr. Alice Show. Remember, I am your host for the Dr. Alice Show, and I am running for your next president of the United States of America in 2024 on an independent ticket. We're going to go back to our guest, Mrs. Maddox. She was speaking and she was talking about her book, and I like the idea of her book, and I have a book that's coming out too. This is my second book. My first book was You Are What You Eat, and this book again, my second book will be Knock, Knock, Who's There? And it's cancer. So, and that's why I'm so thankful that she has decided to get on board my campaign, and we have a lot of things in common. And so be looking out for that book. It's coming out in October. Again, the title of it is Knock Knock, Who's There? Cancer. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Mrs. Mallett.
Thank you, Dr. Teague. Thank you. And I cannot wait for that journey. But yes, the book that I am writing and will be out later this year is called 10 Things I Learned While Having Cancer. You can follow me and get updates about the book, and also we'll give out little excerpts and things like that on Instagram under the handle Sage_N_Silver. So Sage and Silver is where you can find me there. Excuse me. I'm also a mother, right? That's why I'm here. And stop it. Stop it.
She lied. Young to be a mother.
Right. Well, I am a mother. I have given birth to 2 beautiful children, but I am actually a mother of 7 wonderful children.
All right.
Yeah, all different ages. And I am also a grandmother as well. Yeah, you gotta stop with the. Yes, I know. I am, and I absolutely love if my grandkids are watching. Hi, my babies, because I do love them, and I love everything about this journey. You know, journey of life, journey of motherhood, but most importantly, it's really just a journey of self-discovery. You know, all around. So I love that. Yeah.
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 And I appreciate that. Now here comes the hard questions that I have to ask each and every one of them. When we was interviewing, and the answers that they had, I couldn't believe those answers. They were so phenomenal, and I wanted to share those answers on my show. So they have been very prepared. There will be a question that they don't even know that I'm going to ask, but we'll see how they answer it to the audience. So my first question is going to be to Mrs. Yancey. I'm going to start off with her. Of course, that's my daughter, and they said you always got to pick on the person that's closer to you. So my daughter is closer to me.
I knew it.
So
I was like, man,
I'm going to ask her the questions that I want to do. Mrs. Yancey, what type of activities do you and your family do at this moment?
So my children and I are big on arts and crafts. So it's very big in our house. I try to implement that in our lively structure because I feel like it's a therapeutic moment each time that you do it. So we currently have some portraits hanging up in our living room that we painted ourselves. I think they're pretty good. Not to be biased because we did it, but because, you know, they look good. And so I think that that's something that we do just on a daily basis. We do a lot of arts and craft activities with paint and bracelets. My daughter loves making bracelets. I actually have one on that I never take off. And that's just, you know, it's big for us. I think that it allows us to get out our creative side. And I want my kids to explore their creativity and always have something to go to as well that can release some stress when needed.
All right. Mrs. Morgan, my next question is going to be to Mrs. Morgan. And of course, we're going to have questions that's going to come in when we go on break. I heard that some questions came in from the producer. I heard that some questions came in, so we are going to address that. And I want to say right now, I want to thank my producer, Mr. Felix Washington, who has worked so hard. Each and every time I come on my show, he makes sure that everything is okay. And so I want to send a shout out to him as well during this time, because without him, we could not air. So I want to thank him for all his hard work that he do for me and he do for this show, the Dr. Alice Show. My next question, Mrs. Morgan, what challenges do you face being a mom?
What challenge? Before I answer that question, being a mother and a teacher, this is something that, this is the core foundation of what I do in my teaching. Earlier, Miss Felidia said, she mentioned her book, and she said, well, something to the effect, it's not fantastic because I wrote it. And I want to say, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Take that credit.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Put it out there. It is
Yes.
fantastic
Yes.
because you wrote it.
Yes.
And then you said about your painting something to the similar effect that I'm not saying that because I did it. Yes, you are. Go ahead with it. That credit is yours. You painted it. It is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Because it came from you.
You're right.
Exactly because it came from you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that, so you said, to answer your question, what challenges do I face? You know, and it's funny, I'm going to segue into that because that's one of the biggest things that I see as a mother, as a teacher, confidence. Confidence. It's the core of the work that I do with everyone, with my children, with students in the classroom. Because confidence is a muscle that you need to work
it.
every day.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah,
day.
I agree with you,
And
yeah.
that, as a mother,
Yeah.
is the biggest challenge.
Yes.
You know, you can teach a child everything that you know, but if you don't start from a very early age, and there's a balance in there. There's
Yeah.
a balance between being egotistical and confident.
And being confident. Yeah.
So that is like the most challenging thing right in there as a mother, as a teacher, because sometimes when we teach that confidence and they become confident, you create a monster.
Absolutely.
And then that monster wants to work against you.
Yes.
So it's, you're always, every day, it's every day you're working at it. You're teaching it, you're pulling it back.
Yes.
You're teaching it, you're pulling it
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So that, I would have to say, would be one of the biggest challenges as a mother, as a teacher.
Yeah. And I want to, what you know said about confidence and the ego, right? Because I think sometimes too, once you truly get to a place where you know who you are, right? And you really do have that deep connection, like with your soul and with source, you're operating on a whole nother level.
Whole other level.
Right? So you're operating
You
from
raise your
intuition.
vibration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you really don't lean to others for their understanding,
Precisely.
right?
Approval.
Or for their
Or
approval.
exactly.
It's
You
just
know your stuff.
I know what I'm doing,
Right.
or I know the vision
Right.
that I have, and that's what I'm going with. So I don't. And so
I don't need their
sometimes,
approval.
right? Sometimes it's looked at as being egotistical, but it's really
who cares?
not.
Right.
And we don't care.
It's what
and
you
let's
feel.
just say that we
Exactly.
don't care.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's right,
Yeah.
but and it's not rude. It's just I am who I am.
Right.
And I
This
know
is
who I
am,
am.
and I know who
Yeah.
I am.
And I know this painting is fantastic because
Yeah.
I painted it.
And this book is
yeah,
amazing.
no,
because
yeah,
I
right.
wrote it. Yeah, that's right.
That's
I'm going to
right,
ask
right
you
there.
that same question, Ms.
Yeah.
Mallett, because with me being a mother, one of the challenges I had with my two children was raising them up as a single parent at that time. And I wanted to put them in an environment that it wasn't so much traffic or where they could get into trouble.
Sure.
And so I was like being a protective hen. I can remember when my children would have company over, they say, your mama is the meanest mama in the world.
All the time.
Because I would, like, where you going, where you this and where you that. And
Yeah.
we don't have that nowadays where the parents don't even ask where their children's going and stuff like that.
Oh, we do.
But my children thought that I was the meanest people in the world. And their friends thought, oh, we can't even go to your house because your mother's so mean. And I was like the wicked witch. So that was
Yes.
one of my challenges because I wanted to protect my children and I wanted them to be safe. And then my other challenge that I had was raising them up, being a single mother and working 2 to 3 jobs. And that's why I told the American people, the reason why I'm running this race, because I've been there. I had to work 2 or 3 jobs just to put food on the table for my children. There was times that I didn't even eat, but my children ate. And so
Same,
that
yeah.
was one of my challenges, and in trying to face those challenges, but with the help of God, I was able to make it through. And my children are fine, as I said before. And I apologize. I said that, children don't have that discipline. I'm a retract that. Some children don't have that discipline that they need. And so we need to have the discipline. Like when I was growing up, Grandma had Mama Sue over there. She had everybody watching your children. And
Yeah.
I think that that's some of the things that we need to go back into, that everybody start watching children and so that they can get out on the right track. Because we have a lot of children out there that are on the wrong track. And we just need to have parents or your neighbors or your friends to get them back on the right track. So that was one of my questions. And so I'm going to turn it back to you.
Okay.
To ask you, what was one of your challenges being a mother?
So just one? So just one? You want me to give just one challenge of being a mother, right? New challenges come up every day. I probably want to say, if you want me to narrow it down to one, is balance, right? The challenge of having that right balance, right? Like Anna was saying, you give, you pull back, you give,
Right.
you pull back, and it's a constant checking in, right? Like a check and balance system, right? If you want to bring it back to government or, whatever. It's really having that system of, again, intuition, you know what I'm saying? Knowing how much to give, how much to, to take away, knowing and understanding also that it's not, like, even though I'm parenting this child, it's not just this child. It's every other child that they're going to interact with when they're out in the world. You know what I mean? It's that as well. Even before we started, and I'm going to get candid, before we started on the set, like, our kids are here and they're moving around, and I said something to all of the kids, and then I said, oh, I was just talking to my kids. And then I was also lying when I said that, because I was really talking to all of the kids. And we spoke about that. We all agree that we're always mothering all the time, and we'll talk to anyone's kids, right?
And you were talking to everybody here too.
Right, I was president. Yeah. But I will, and that's something that you hit on, Dr. Teague. My grandmother, I grew up in Southside Jamaica, Queens. Shout out to New York. You know I had to do it. But I grew up in Queens in the 80s, and my grandmother was that grandmother that everyone knew in the neighborhood. Gigi, Glow, everyone knew her, and she disciplined everyone's children. They all knew her, and then people in different neighborhoods knew my grandmother. So if we went over there causing ruckus, and we did, she would know about it by the time we got back home on our bikes. That's the kind of neighborhood that I grew up in New York City. So I take that with me. That's part of home. Home is who you are, right? Not where you are. So I take that with me wherever I go.
Okay. That is wonderful. Mrs. Yancey, I'm going to ask you that same question. What was one of your questions? I'm sorry. What was one of your challenges being a mother? And still, what is one of your challenges being a mother?
Well, for me, I definitely relate to that, right? Because it's being a mother, a parent in general, but being a mother comes with so many different, dynamics of juggling this, that, and that, and that. So for me, I think that the biggest challenges for me is definitely juggling and confidence. You know what I mean? Like as a parent, especially as a single mom, you lose confidence sometimes because you're like, I don't know how to do this and I don't know how to do that, and how do I take care of children and pay bills, and if I want to go to school, how do I do that? What does that look like? To work, how do you work and take care of kids and go home and cook, and you want to go out, you know, like how do you do these things? So for me, it definitely is just, you know, having that courage to actually like step out and talk to yourself sometimes and build up your self-esteem and just be like, you know what, it's not easy, but nothing in life that comes with happiness is easy.
Yeah.
And you are resilient. You know what I mean? Like you are strong. You know, you've had examples of God showing you that. Don't dim that light and don't belittle it. You know, like learn from it, take from it, build on that, and then move on to the next step that you got to move on to. So I think that is, you know, you constantly have to remind yourself so that you keep that confidence. You know what I mean? You keep that courage, and you're always like, all right, because it's an everyday thing.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to do this every day.
Yeah.
And even when they get older, they're not around, you still have to be a mom. You still have to. You have to, when they're not around, you still got to clean up their room.
Yeah.
You got to feed a lizard that you didn't sign up for. You know what I mean? Like you got to go to PetSmart and buy fish food. Like you got to, you know, make sure they have what they need for school and make sure there's food in the refrigerator. You know what I mean? Not just for you, because they got to eat too. So it's like you have to constantly remind yourself and constantly build yourself up and be like, you know what? It was rough today, but I got this.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that, because being a mother is an everyday job. And even with my children, I'm still, you know, coaching them and, you know, advising them. And even now with my grandchildren, and they say, grandma, 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 grandma. So being a mom is an everyday challenge. We got to go on break. But before we go on break, I want to send a shout out. My cousin Renee has a business, and her business is called PlanNet Marketing. If you want to work from home, book hotels, resorts, cruises, flights, business opportunity, contact her. Her name is Renee Brown. She is an independent representative for traveling. You can reach her at 270-752-3690. And we'll talk more about that with her being a traveling agent. I know I'm going to be calling her soon. So Renee, be ready. I'm going to send a shout out to you again, Renee, and we'll talk more about your business. Again, I want to thank the mothers for being here, and we'll be right back.
There are no mistakes or regrets in this life, only the opportunity to learn and evolve. Leave your imprint on this earth. In that process, it's a responsibility and calling to aid others where possible. When you've been blessed, you should look to be a blessing. That can take the form of your time and resources. You only have one life to make a difference in others, so why not show up and be great? But not for the sake of yourself, but for a generation of onlookers who are looking to see what's possible. Being a State Farm good neighbor in the community is a privilege that I don't take for granted. My name is Sherry DeVos Denard, and my office is located in the industrial side of McDonough, Georgia. We service all of Georgia and neighboring states Alabama and South Carolina. You can reach us today for all of your auto, home, life, and small business needs at 678-782-3005 or online at sddinsurance.com and on all social media platforms.
Soul Food is now hiring. If you love barbecue, you won't find a better barbecue restaurant than Big Country's Barbecue and Soul Food. Come experience the taste of perfection, the finest quality of barbecue grilled fresh, leaving your taste buds longing for more. The memories of a delicious, well-seasoned, mouth-watering meal will last a lifetime. Visit us today. Big Country's Barbecue and Soul Food is located at 1530 Hudson Ridge Road in Stockbridge. Order now on Grubhub or call 470-781-1233.
World exposes our youth to life experiences that are well beyond that which their years should allow. Violence, trauma, poverty, injustice. Our children's lives and their livelihoods are in constant danger. Wisdom, Inc. is a community-based organization designed to save young lives by reducing violence and assisting youth in their personal development. Wisdom stands for wise individuals structuring and developing youthful minds. Through our collective wisdom, we can change lives for the better. Wisdom, Inc. Reducing violence, developing youth, saving lives. Today's
We are back with these lovable ladies here. Some questions did come in, and I'm going to ask them. But before I go to those questions, I want to remind people about the concert at Brooks Lake in Conyers. You don't want to miss this concert. It's on June the 17th, which is also Juneteenth Day. It's also a day before Father's Day. But this is one of the concerts. If you never went to a concert, this is a concert that you want to go. It's going to be a lot of food vendors there. We've got a lot of sponsors. This concert is called the Community Concert at Brooks Lake. I'm one of the sponsors, along with Outback, along with Red Lobsters, along with Public, and there's other sponsors that will, Longhorn Steakhouse is sponsoring this. And so you don't want to miss this concert. We have a great band, the Revelation Band. We have one of the baddest DJs out of Seattle, Washington. You might be knowing him. He played in the Mighty Quinn. Dr. G.J. Quinn will be here all the way from Seattle, Washington. We also have Mr. Vernon Cooper from the Emojo Band. Then we have a person you don't want to miss, Dennis Dazzle, who is going to be doing a tribute to Prince. And he plays Prince just like Prince. And so this is a concert that you don't want to miss. We also will have Mr. Motown, Mr. Henry Sanders, from the Sounds of Motown, the lead singer. And so we ask that you come on out to this concert on June the 17th at 4 p.m. If you want more information, you can dial 404-903-7894. We still have room available for sponsors. If you want to be a sponsor or if you want to be a vendor, we still have room for you to be a vendor. So come on out to this concert. It's going to be a nice concert, and it's a community concert. And we ask that you come on and get your groove on at this concert. You can get your tickets at eventbrite.com. Now, we had some questions to come in for our panels that's on, and we're going to go to these questions. And one of the questions that came in was, and any one of you all can answer this question at first, and doesn't really matter who does first, but I'm going to read this question. I know with me, Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. This was my favorite verse when I was going through my trouble and when I was a single mother, especially going to my journey. So do you ladies have a favorite scripture or verse that you got you through each and every day of your journeys?
For me, I would say it's more so of a saying than a actual verse that's implemented throughout the Bible, is grace and mercy. You have to have that, I feel, as just people in general, but definitely as a parent, as a mother, you need both. You know, you need God's grace to help you get through, and you need His mercy, you know, to make things a little easier for you sometimes when things get a little hard. So I definitely pray about that often and try to implement God's grace and mercy in my life.
Okay.
Yeah, so mine is a scripture, although I will tell anyone I'm not religious, you know, by far, but definitely very spiritual. But I did grow up in the church heavily, many churches actually, and I'm thankful that I did. Mine would just be Proverbs, which is my favorite book of the Christian Bible, 3, 5, and 6, which reads, trust in the Lord, or trust in spirit with all your heart, and lean not to your own understanding, and in all your ways acknowledge spirit, and they will, and it will direct your path. Yeah. So yeah, right. See, y'all know it. Y'all know it. Right. And I really, you know, going through this journey, I just really learned that so much, you know, so deeply, is to really have that trust. So maybe I'm getting over those trust issues that I talked about, right? A little bit. Right, let him use. Won't he? So,
Won't he do it?
Won't he will. So just really coming to that place of deep understanding. You know, I tell this story, and I'll make it quick. I know we don't have much time, of Spirit communicating with me all throughout this process and really showing up in the most unorthodox and beautiful ways. And so maybe like last year and last July, I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, invasive breast cancer, which is like very aggressive. They said it's aggressive. It's so aggressive is what they said. And I was like, well, I'm aggressive too. So,
That's all right.
Yes.
so it better be ready for me.
That's right.
You know, right after I, you know, got over the whole pity thing that the world really tries to push on you when you find out about that, I just knew one of the main things I needed to do was start with my diet, right?
Right.
So I went to one of my favorite places, which is our DeKalb Farmers Market, right? If you live here in Atlanta, you know about the DeKalb Farmers Market, one of the best places to be. So I went there, and I went to go shop for some organic food, right? I'm like, I know I need to do everything organic. Pesticides are killing us. So I was in the root aisle, and I was going to get me some organic ginger. As I got the ginger, and then after I got the ginger, I literally hear Spirit say to me, turn around, you need that. So I turned around, and I'm like, I need what? I don't even know what that is. And when I turned around, there was a root that was sitting there named galangal. And galangal, if you know about it, is from Southeast Asia, and it's grown in Hawaii.
Okay.
But I was like, I don't even know what this is. Like, I'm saying this out loud, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is. And then Spirit is like, Google it. Duh. You know, and I was like, who are you talking to? Right? Who are you talking to like that? But I did. I pulled out my phone and I Googled it. And when I Googled galangal, one of the first benefits that came up was that it fights and helps to kill cancer cells, and in particular breast cancer cells. You guys, I'd never heard of this thing before a day in my life. You know, I would have never picked it up, looked at it, if it was not for Spirit saying to me, you need that. You know, and we all know this. We all know this process. We all know this. You know, something told me to make a right. Something told me to, you know, to go down the street or stick my hand in this hole or something or another. But that something is always Spirit. You know, that's always your deepest connection, guiding you to be exactly where you need to be in life.
Right.
And so, just to bring it back full circle, trust in God, trust in whomever your God is, trust in that Spirit, trust in that source, and most importantly, trust in yourself.
Trust in
because
yourself.
that's where you find it.
I like that. Mrs.
Yeah.
Morgan, what would be your favorite verse, or what would you like to say?
My favorite verse that's been in my life, even before having children, is let go and let God.
I like that.
But before I say that, I want to comment on what you just said about having that voice and I want to say, don't put that out there now, because you know, like the man went into court and told the judge, something told me to kill her. I don't know that was a voice. You know, something said, something told me.
You know when it's good for you.
Right.
Good result.
Yes, you know, so we have to temper that with a little cautionary note.
Always,
you know, put some little red warning signs. You know, it's got to feel right.
That's true.
So to answer and this is a mantra my entire life. It's more the axiom of let go and let God, because we always seem to think, and you know, in our society nowadays, there's always a talk about controlling and controlling this and controlling your diet and controlling your children, and this word just gets spewed out there wildly. But the reality is that we're not in control.
Right.
That's the reality. And I think that we have to temper that too with learning to let go. There are a lot of things that we can't control. In fact, we always think we're in the driver's seat. Just making a choice as to what you want to eat tonight for dinner. You think you're making that choice, but subliminally you're not. You're being guided by so many other different subsurface forces that we don't even recognize cognitively that these are the things making the decision. So for me, it's always learning to let go.
Well,
Yeah.
let
You
go.
know, and
I like
especially
that.
when you're raising children, you make children, you don't make their minds.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and
Say that again.
Yeah,
Say it
and
again.
they-
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Right,
Yes.
Yes, yes.
I don't care what DNA you think you're putting in or how you think you're
Yes.
influencing.
Yeah.
You just have to put it there, let it go, and trust.
And
that.
trust the process.
That is
And,
very
and that's what I
process.
say. I say
Yeah.
you got to let it go and trust the process.
And-
that's what I do. When I can't do anything, and I said, Lord, give me the strength, but I let it go, and I have to trust the process
Trust
to
the
see what
universe.
the end's going
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
So I like that. Now, ladies, another question came in, and this is a good question, I believe, that came in from one of the people that called in. If you had a choice to throw away love or money, love or money, which one would you do, Mrs. Yancey?
Oh, okay, I'm first. Wow. All right.
You're the favorite.
Knew I should have said over there. No, I think so. We thought about this question, right? Because my first answer, I was like, oh, that probably doesn't make a lot of sense. I think that now in the world that we live in, now if you would ask me this back in the 90s where, you know, everyone was living comfortably and cereal wasn't $10 a box, government fixed that.
Right.
You know, I would have said something different. But now I think that, you know, money is so important to have because what are you supposed to do without money now? You know what I mean? Like, and depending on the type of person that you are, money can be used in a good way to give examples of love. For me, I am a gifter. That's one of my love languages. I'm a gifter, and I like to be able to do things for other people. So money would be more important to me so I can show my love in different avenues and show people appreciation and things of that nature. And, you know, sometimes people need that little help. And I would love to be that person to show my love through the finances that I can provide for them.
Okay, Mrs.
So you're going to take that money. That's what you're saying. That's
In a nice way, that's what I'm trying to say.
Mrs. Morgan, love or money?
Well, you know, with me, it's always context. It's always context. And when we talked about this, again, for me, it comes back to how much money are we talking about?
Right.
And what's the context of this love? If we're sitting down and we're looking at a man dead in the face and you're saying, okay, here's a bag of money over there and there's a good-looking chap and you guys work out and everything looks great, to me, money's a sure thing. It's sitting there, that's a sure thing. With love, you don't know, because if it's going to be unrequited love, you're sort of jumping on a ship and you don't know the direction it's heading in. And you just have to hope that there's a map and there's a captain and everything, it's going to work
And if
out.
it don't work out, you're broke.
And we're not, and we're going to have smooth sailing. So there are a million variables there. When you're looking at money, there are a lot of things you can do with that money, and especially as we had talked, ladies, if you're whole in yourself and you have your path and you know what you want to do. And I'm not by any means saying money can buy love.
Right.
That's not at all what I'm saying.
Okay.
But money can help you to promote
Okay.
a lot of that love
Okay.
that comes from you. That you're not sitting dysfunctional and waiting for somebody to bring you that love. So if the question is, I can give you money today or I can give you love today, which one you want, I'll take the money.
The money.
Because the love starts here,
Right.
and the love is here.
It's already
Now,
there.
exactly. And no one can give me that love. You can't like magically say, I'll
Right.
give you love.
Yeah.
But the money, it's a sure thing.
If it's enough money.
If it's enough money.
All right. What would you say, love or money? I'm going to give you $1 million. Would
Oh, now
take
she
my
put a
$1
number on
million,
it.
or would
She
you
get a
take
number.
the-
$1 million, that ain't no kind of money.
That's don't even know.
I mean, I don't have
Will
it
you
yet,
take
but
$1
it's there.
million or will you take the love? Which one?
Both
love
of
or miracle?
Both of them.
She's like, can I have both?
Right. So, right. This one, y'all know this one is difficult for me, right?
Yeah.
Because I am, right, I'm a
grounded
lover,
girl.
right? I'm a lover. And, right, and it's, we talked about, how deep love is, how
Yes.
it really is the fabric that, that holds everything together. You know what I'm saying? Our DNA, that force, it is literally God itself. Excuse me. And to me that is timeless. You know what I'm saying? Money is dated.
Yeah.
And y'all know, y'all see the system about to fall anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get a bunch of cash, and I
That's
might
right.
not be able to use this
I might not
cash
be
or
able to
change
use
it
it.
over to Bitcoin
Yeah.
or whatever. But I love what both of my ladies said about the about the context and cereal being $10 a box.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the eggs.
I mean,
eggs
don't
here in
start
Georgia
us in
was-
on the
was
eggs.
almost $7. I refuse to buy
Don't
eggs.
start.
I refuse
Now
to buy
I eat.
eggs.
I'm gonna buy them because I eat them every day. Y'all may mess around and come to that house in Conyers and there's
So
some chickens out there.
We definitely have to do something with the economy.
Yes.
Now, the last question that we're going to have
Well,
time
I'm
for-
sorry, could I ask a question?
Yes, please.
So did I hear you say you're taking $1 million?
I did not say that.
We were worried about it.
So here's my thing too about it is that when you truly love something, when
Yeah.
you are truly in love with yourself, and when you love something, that in and of itself is a money maker.
Right.
I feel like
Exactly.
people see that. I feel like that gets translated into value, right? And we talked about money is just an exchange, right?
Well, I'll
so
just
it's
keep
about
my
the value.
millions in my pocket.
Well, I'm just saying share. I don't feel like, God said share. So, but no, I do feel that, I feel that 100%, like, me being in that flow is going to bring everything to me that I really
you do,
truly
right.
need. Yeah, if
And
you
I
guys
believe
think
that.
about it, there's never been a time in life where you did not truly have what you needed.
Right, absolutely.
You may not have always had what you wanted, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Or at times, but some way, somehow, it works itself out.
And,
all
you know,
that
and
ties
then you
into the
have to
person you are,
remember, and
too.
then you
Yeah.
have to remember,
Yeah.
money is the root of all evil, and I remember that.
I don't
think
believe
that's
that.
money.
I don't
I
believe
would
that.
agree with the
how
way
you
you
use
use
money.
money.
Yeah,
that's why
the
it's
way you use
important.
money.
Yeah, and it's your
Person you are.
idea about it.
Yeah.
Your ideas
Right.
about it. Yeah.
Right.
that
Now
can
we
be.
have one more question before we get off. If there's a young mother that's looking at you all and listening to us, what would you do? What kind of advice would you give that person that's listening to us right now? A young mother or any mother at that point, especially a mother that's going through and that's struggling. What would be you all's answer?
Yes, you can.
Could I
Yes, you can.
Yes, you
jump
can.
right in on that one?
Go.
Yes.
Go.
Accountability,
Right.
responsibility, and accountability.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's again my foundational ethic, because if you can't take responsibility for your own actions, the things you do, the choices you make, and understand that these are your choices, you made them, follow them through, whatever the result, whatever the consequences, those are yours. And if you can't do that for yourself and teach that to your children, we're going to be a lost society.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing, as I travel around the world and I encounter various cultures and people, it is lacking. It is greatly lacking. Somewhere in the society, we lost that, taking responsibility. So for me, that would be the one word that I would have to come back to. Responsibility and accountability. You know, take responsibility. Teach your children responsibility.
Okay. Anybody
And
else?
I said my saying was, yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, and I truly mean that. And in a accountability, man, not just for the children, but for adults.
yourself, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
for yourself, for your relationship, for your health, for knowing information, right? You don't get to say, especially in this day and age, oh, I didn't know. No,
Yeah.
you can't. What?
Right.
Yeah, you can. There's anything that you can figure out if you truly want to know it,
Right.
and be accountable for. You talk about traveling all over the world, and you see this thing that's missing. You see people that want that always want to get a thing for nothing,
For nothing.
and want to make other people pay because they cannot control themselves or their emotions or something or another, and it's always someone else's fault. And I can sit here and say that because I've also been that type of person in life where I'm like, well, I only, you know, choke this
I did it
person out
because of
because,
that. Yeah.
you know, I
There's
don't.
always a reason.
Yeah,
Right,
it was someone else. But you know, when you come back to that place of accountability, it is really the most powerful
Yeah,
place that
absolutely.
you can be.
And as mothers,
Yeah.
as mothers, we have a great influence
Yes, we
on our
do.
children's lives.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And I
it
believe that
starts
we have
here.
a
In the
great
world
influence
as a whole
of our
because of
children's
that.
life.
Right.
I believe that we have a
Yes.
great influence of our children's life, and I also believe that accountability. Ms. Yancey, before we go, you want to say the last word for what advice that you would give any mother at this time?
It would definitely be accountability for sure, and definitely what both of you said, and not having an excuse to why you don't know something, but also be okay with not knowing something. Because sometimes you get so hard on
Yeah.
yourself, like, oh, why don't I know this? Why can't I do this? Why can't I figure it out? And it's like that pressure will, you know, cause a bigger issue because you're so worried about why you don't know it that you don't actually go find the answer.
Find the answer.
So it's definitely like take a step back, breathe, calm down, and just realize, like, girl, you got this.
Yes.
You know, like
There
you
she
got
is.
it.
Yes.
You just got to take your time.
I like
Yeah.
that answer, and we
Yes.
do have to go. Thank you, ladies, for being on the Dr.
Yes.
Alice Show.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate
Dr.
it.
Alice.
Yay,
God
thank
bless
you.
you all.
Thank
and
you.
again, Happy Mother's Day to
Happy
all
Mother's
mothers.
Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy
across the
Mother's
world.
Day.
Happy Mother's Day from the Dr. Alice Show. And before I go, remember, I am running for your next president of the United States of America. Because like I said before, if you want something different, you got to do something different. And I'm willing to do something different. I'm willing to be your president if you allow me to be your president. So I say, God bless you. And don't forget the concert at Brooks Lake. Go to the website. Go to Eventbrite. Purchase your ticket. June the 17th at 4 p.m. I want to see you there. I'm going to be there. I want to see you there.
Do we have
and
a second to bring in the children?
And again, we have the children. I want to bring
we
the
have a
children right quick on the stage.
on, you guys.
And just say hello, everyone. Just say hello to everybody.
Just come-
on the stage.
just come
The
say
children's on the
hi.
stage.
Turn
Credit.
around.
Look at that.
So now
These
we
are my
have the
beauties.
children. We have the children on the stage. And again, I want to give a shout out to my cousin Renee at PlantNet Marketing. Again, her name is Renee Brown. She is a travel agent. If you want to call her for any of your travel needs, 270-752-3690. And her number again is 270-752-3690. Call her for any of your travel needs. For any of your travel needs, you won't be disappointed. And we'll see you on my next show. God bless you.
All right. Bye, everyone.